Attorney General Loretta Lynch has said the Department of Justice has looked into prosecuting climate change deniers under RICO statute.
Thank you. Madam Attorney General, the similarities between the mischief of the tobacco industry pretending that the science of tobacco's dangers was unsettled, and the fossil fuel industry pretending that the science of carbon emissions dangers is unsettled, has been remarked on widely, particularly by those who study the climate denial apparatus that the fossil fuel industry has erected. Under President Clinton, the Department of Justice brought and won a civil RICO action against the tobacco industry for its fraud. Under President Obama, the Department of Justice has done nothing so far about the climate denial scheme. A request for action by the Department of Justice has been referred by you to the FBI. My question to you is, other than civil forfeitures and matters attendant to a criminal case, are there other circumstances in which a civil matter under the authority of the Department of Justice has been referred to the FBI?
Senator, thank you for that raising that issue, and thank you for your work in this area. I know your commitment is deep. This matter has been discussed. We have received information about it and have referred it to the FBI to consider whether or not it meets the criteria for what we could take action on.
This matter has been discussed. We have received information about it and have referred it to the FBI to consider.
This matter has been discussed. We have received information about it and have referred it to the FBI to consider. This matter has been discussed. We have received information about it and have referred it to the FBI to consider.
Hi, everybody!
Welcome to the Emergent Reality Network.
Please stand by for a public service announcement. Please be advised that you have been advised. Tomorrow has been cancelled due to the lack of interest. Thank you for your participation and humanity. The revolution will not be televised. This has been a recording.
Connection established. Begin protocol.
This is a message to the American people to expose the truth.
It's time for Fully Threaded Radio.
It is Fully Threaded Radio, voice of the FCH Sourcing Network. This is online, on-demand, predominantly Fastener Talk Radio, and we're so glad you clicked in, everybody. Eric Dudas here, and I'm joined, as always, by the co-host of Fully Threaded. He's fashion maven and lifelong honorary Texan, Brian Musker.
Yeah.
Doing all right, Bri?
Yeah, my fashion's a colourful ski gear, which were probably a little more colourful than I needed, actually.
You had a good time on the slopes last week, did you?
I did. I was way up in Jackson Hole, Wyoming, where I used to ski years ago. So I went back with some friends and had a very tough few days. Marvellous skiing, but it would have been better had I been like 40 years younger. It was fun, though.
Well, we're glad you made it back. You didn't do a sunny Bono, and now it's time for all fasteners all the time.
Semper Screwdelis.
What, is that pig Latin?
No, Fastener Latin.
Well, that's the best kind on this podcast. Thanks again for joining us. This is episode 103 of Fully Threaded Radio. We're publishing on March 17th, 2016. Got a pretty good one again lined up for everyone, I think. And we'll start with a conversation with Pac-West President Kevin Chavis. He's going to give us a recap of what went on at the big Pac-West and NFDA joint meeting that took place in San Diego recently. Heard it was pretty good, Bri.
Yep. Well, great venue.
We'll also be talking with Aaron Shushan of Specialty Sales. He's involved in a new fastener media entity They're calling it Fastener Pulse. Not sure how many of you have caught it, but hopefully in the near future you'll be listening into that, watching also, I should say, and we'll talk with him and he'll give us details on that. Plus, our feature segment today is a conversation with Executive Vice President of Fastenal, Gary Polipnick. He's got lots to say. Been a while since he's been on the program with us. Plus, Mike McNulty has the Fastener News Report, including the FDI results for February. And as always, Carmen Vertullo has the Fastener Training Minute. It's going to zip right by, Bri.
I know.
We've also got a strong lineup of sponsors on this episode. Brian, shout them out.
Oh, yeah, we do. The title sponsors of Fully Threaded are Stellfast and the Lindstrom family of companies. Stellfast, for service you deserve and people you trust. And the Lindstrom family of companies, including Titan Fasteners, Lindstrom by any measure. Also sponsoring Fully Threaded Radio are Buckeye Fasteners, Fastenal, InSequel Software, ND Industries, The Worth Group, Volt Industrial Plastics, Trinity Hardware Headquarters, and Solution Industries, home of Solution Man. So thanks to all of you, okay? We appreciate it. We need it.
We need it bad. And we need to hear from you folks, so if you feel like it, get with us anytime. The email address is ftr@fullythreaded.com. We also hang out on Twitter. The handle there is Fully Threaded. Well, Brian, you said you had a minor injury out there on the slopes, but you didn't do a Sonny Bono, and I said that was a good thing. And you were going to say something about that? What were you thinking? Yeah,
well, the thing is that, I guess when I started out skiing, you wouldn't be seen dead in anything other than a baseball cap or to go skiing in. But everyone wears helmets now, okay? Which is sort of interesting because, people riding bikes think it's hard to get people to wear helmets. But in skiing, I guess everyone knows about the problems of Sonny, Michael Schumacher, and a whole lot of others. I mean, everyone wears helmets.
Right.
Which is actually good because they sort of keep your head warm.
Well, it's a sign of the times.
Yeah, it is.
A commentary on modern society.
Yeah.
And we'll be back with more commentary on the modern fastener industry. Semper Screwdelis.
Right, yeah.
Right after this.
I have to go back and look at my Latin book.
Coming to you across the vast audio radiance of the internet. It's the voice of the FCH Sourcing Network. Fully Threaded Radio.
Why do distributors turn to Lindstrom? Because we're committed to being the source for everything distributors need, including packaging and manufacturing. If you need less than bulk, packaged product off the shelf, or custom packaging, Lindstrom has it all. Ask about kits, assortments, and our new VMI bin pack program. Whether you need special lengths or thread pitch, altered parts, studs, or manufactured parts, inch or metric, large parts or small, Lindstrom has you covered. We also manufacture special washers in addition to sockets, bolts, and nuts. Need a prototype part? Call Lindstrom. As the leading specialty fastener master distributor, Lindstrom is focused on a single goal: to bring our distributors the perfect combination of convenience, flexibility, value, and choice. To be the source for everything distributors need. When you need something special, turn to Lindstrom. To learn more about Lindstrom and our expanded brand of value-added products and services, visit lindstromfastener.com or call a sales representative at 1-800-572-5550. Lindstrom, by any measure.
When top quality and outstanding service are at the top of your list in fastener suppliers, turn to Stellfast. Since 1976, Stellfast has grown to become an industry-leading importer and manufacturer of the highest quality industrial fasteners, specialty items, and automotive parts. Our array of facilities across North America and in Asia, along with full quality control labs and ISO 9001-2008 certifications, ensure the highest quality parts, and at Stellfast, they're delivered with undisputed service excellence. We're family-run and dedicated to your success. Our customers have come to depend on the expertise of our staff and the quality of our products. We also offer a wide range of secondary services to meet some of the toughest requirements you might have. Contact Stellfast today through our website at www.stellfast.com and put us to work for you. Stellfast. Service you deserve, people you trust. Hi everybody, Eric here. I moved to the Cleveland area recently, and they put me on the board of the North Coast Fastener Association. But even if that weren't the case, I'd still urge all my friends to join me and a couple hundred fastener industry professionals at this year's NCFA Distributor Social. This is the 7th rendition of this popular, predominantly fastener-related event, and this year the NCFA is hoping to make it the biggest yet. The Distributor Social takes place May 12th at the Crown Plaza Hotel in Independence, Ohio. It's a great place to meet with fellow threadheads from a wide variety of companies over a few old rusty bolts. And this year, you'll have a chance to hear from the people at Emerald Exhibitions, new operators of the Las Vegas Fastener Show. Don't miss the NCFA Distributor Social on May 12th. For details, check out the NCFA website at ncfaonline.com.
I need quarter 20x2 zinc-plated socket head cap screws ASAP. My customer has a line down and needs Saturday delivery. Help!
Solution Man can. I have over $1 million in zinc-plated sockets in stock, and I'll gladly drop ship directly to your customer on Saturdays. Visit the Solution Industries website for details at solutionind.com.
Is there anything you can't do, Solution Man?
When it comes to fasteners, nothing I can think of, ma'am. I'm not too good at bowling, though.
Hey, everybody, this is Kurt from Branham Fastening, and you're listening to my buds, Eric and Brian, of Fully Threaded Radio. Fascinating.
Brian and Eric, back with you on the online Fastener Super Slide, Fully Threaded.
Yeah, right. And what a slide it is. Actually, anything sliding is the FDI.
Yeah. Well, you've been used to running downhill lately, last week.
I have.
But it's going to be all uphill from here, I can tell. In a good way. We're heading to the top. Except for the fact, I think I told you this, Bri, it happened. I broke my cell phone. I broke my iPhone.
Oh, God. Okay.
I always had that fear, and I'm actually amazed that it took so long. I shelled out about $100 for this fantastic waterproof case when I bought this new phone. I've got the 6S now, and gee, it took me about 2-3 weeks to realize it was a great case, totally waterproof, but nobody could hear me.
Right, it blocked all the sound from all the microphones. Right.
So I wound up taking the case off and just carrying the thing around, and I tell you, man, those things are slippery.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't keep it on your leg while you're driving. It'll just fall off, and in the truck it falls between the seats. It gets lost for weeks at a time, it seems. But anyway, I finally busted the screen on it, and I guess now I'm going to have to go to, what was that place you used to talk about? We Fix, You Break? Or
You break, we fix. You break, I fix. Yeah.
So next time I come to your neighborhood, I'll stop by and see those guys.
Okay, yeah, it's one just around here. They're good.
So that's an update on the iPhone saga. We don't talk about iPhones nearly as much as we used to.
No, well, they're sort of just things for use, that's why.
It's passé now.
Yeah. Yep.
Well, I've got another update for everybody, and this is on the Hall of Fame bricks story.
Oh, good, yeah.
That was really the main topic of the last episode, and I guess that got a lot of mileage. We'll hear from Kevin coming up. I guess it was brought up at the Pac-West a little bit, so that was cool. I got a text from Gary Graham of National Threaded Fasteners, and somewhere in his travels, I presume in Northeast Ohio or thereabouts, he found an old Porteous trailer, like a big rig trailer, like an 18-wheeler trailer. It's got the old paint job on it, and it's a little faded now. I don't exactly know where he saw it, but he took a picture of it, texted it over to me, and he said, wouldn't it be cool if somehow they could put the Hall of Fame in this thing and make it, a mobile Hall of Fame?
Okay. That's a good suggestion. Thanks, Gary.
Yeah. He actually took it one step better, and he said on the back we could paint Hall of Fame, H-A-U-L of Fame.
Oh, wow. He was thinking.
Yeah.
Okay.
So thanks for that, Gary. Yeah, a lot of people have had a lot of ideas. Traveling Salesman up on his blog asked the question, what should we do with the bricks? I don't think he received a lot of answers on the site, but I know that people have been talking about it quite a bit. I think the ideas fall into one of three camps. Some people want to disperse the bricks, give them back, to the recipients of the award.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And then another group wants to somehow find a place to put them all in the ground. And then the third group likes this idea of somehow making a mobile exhibit. It could show up at Vegas, at industry events, and so forth. And I don't know if the FIC has really considered it seriously yet. They've got a couple of other things they're working on, but it'll be fun to watch how the conversation unfolds.
Oh, yeah. It's a little bit hard to deal with a HAUL of Fame in a way, because how are you going to get the bloody thing over to Las Vegas? Someone's going to have to, tow it there.
Yep, it's all in the logistics.
Yeah, it is. The idea's good.
Well, that'll be a conversation that's ongoing.
Yeah.
Hey, folks, we're the people who bring you the FCH Sourcing Network. That's found at fastenersclearinghouse.com. Anytime you're looking for a hard-to-find inventory item or a fill-in, or you're just looking for a new source, get out there to the website. It's free to use. And we've got, about 1.25 million lines on any given day or thereabouts. Be thrilled to have you out there using it. On the other side of that coin, if you're looking to move inventory, please give us a call or contact us through the website. And we'd be happy to try to make your phone ring, get rid of some inventory for you, or find you some new business. That's the FCH Sourcing Network.
Otherwise known as Fasteners Clearinghouse with an S.
And the S is for safe skiing.
It nearly wasn't safe, okay? But it was fun.
Well, I'm glad you got away for a little while. You deserved it. All your work on the scrubber and in other parts of the network, and you deserved it.
Thank you.
And folks, if you deserve a little time out of the office, I've got the perfect event for you. Coming up May 12th in Independence, Ohio, it's the 7th rendition of the NCFA Distributor Social. This is a great event. Last year, they had something north of 200 people in attendance. The old Rusty was flowing. There were some golf games, raffle. It was a lot of fun. Did you make it last time, Bri?
I did. And I'm going to make it again this year. And I might even talk the lovely and talented Lynn Dempsey into coming over, actually.
Oh, that'd be cool. If only Jack the Fastener dog could get in the car with you.
Yeah, I don't think he travels well. He gets nervous.
That's okay. I don't really see Fastener dogs at the social anyway, but that's okay because there'll be plenty of really interesting humans to interact with. It'll probably be a lot less messy, too.
Yeah.
This time, I think the board is working with Emerald Exhibitions. They're the new owners of the NIFS show, and they're going to do a Q&A and a little presentation on what they've got lined up for the Vegas show.
Oh.
Yeah, that should be cool.
Okay. Yeah, there's a little bit of uncertainty as this goes into the future as what really is going on. So it'd be good to clear that up.
Well, we'll hear it right from the horse's mouth, as they say.
Right.
Fun and games and Fastener show information. You can't go wrong, folks. That's the NCFA Distributor Social, May 12th.
Be there or be square.
Well, Bri, speaking of Fastener Association fun and games, recently there was quite a bit of that going on. We talked about it ahead of time. That was happening out in San Diego at Lowe's Coronado Bay. That was March 1st through the 4th. It was, of course, the NFDA and Pac-West meeting. We didn't get out there this time, did we, Bri?
No, I didn't, and I really should have, but I just had things going on.
Okay, I'll buy that, but fortunately, joining us now is somebody who was there, and he'll give us the moment-by-moment excitement, thrills, and spills and chills. He, of course, is Kevin Chavis of the great Star Stainless. Hey, Kevin, thanks for popping in with us.
Yeah.
Hey, Eric, how you doing? How you doing, Brian?
Good, mate, thanks.
It's a little late here in the eastern part of the country, but I'm sure that the wait will be well worth it. You're always full of exciting stories. What have you got for us this time? Tell us all about it.
Well, we missed you guys this trip. We had the joint meeting, NFDA and Pac-West, in Lowe's Coronado Bay.
Well, that's a great place to have it. Actually, the whole city is a great place, actually.
Yeah, it turned out very well. Started out the week with golf on Wednesday morning, and the Sims and Specials guys teamed up with the guys from Fall River, and they took home some cash. We know who's been working, and it's not them.
So this has gone from Friday afternoon to Thursday as well now, just for practicing.
Yeah, that's what happens when you hit the big time.
Yeah, and while that was happening, there were some great spousal programs, and that started the same time. The spouses got out and did some whale watching, got out on the bay and on the ocean, and all good time was had by all, from what I was told.
Do you know what kind of whales they actually observe out there?
I believe it's the Pacific gray whale, but I'm not sure 100%.
It sounds convincing, so I'll believe you, okay?
Yeah, I think most fully threaded radio listeners will.
You could have said a northern blue, and I thought, okay.
No, I heard they saw a couple whales and got to see some dolphins, and that was a lot of fun for them. It was nice seeing them afterwards and hooking up. It was actually a very good conference. I thought it was nice to get together with old friends and meet some new friends.
Now, I heard about 220 or so people showed up for this event. Is that what you heard as well?
Yeah, 200 plus. Yeah, we actually had some pretty good programs. We started it off Thursday morning with value-added selling by Tom Riley. He's an author, sales trainer, done a lot of work with a lot of groups. And he brought in a couple sessions where talking about selling and, not giving away margin when you can, trying to keep things on the up and up.
Yeah, that'd come in handy these days.
Right.
Yeah. Then we also had a very good program put on by Melissa Patel from Field Fasteners and Brian Wheeler from Star Stainless. The young fastener professionals put on a good program on millennial employees and how to keep and attract them. They also went over their survey that they did with everyone. And, it was very good and interesting to everybody.
Okay, good.
Seems like we can't get away from that one, Bri.
No. What did you learn then?
We learned that we have to deal with them different than we had to deal with us. So, they're more technology driven than we ever were, and that's a good thing.
Well, it will eventually, when it filters through this industry, it will be good.
Yeah. Well, we also had some very good topics. I know, Eric, you've sat in on the forums a few times, and we really missed you guys there. One of the big things we went over this time was Fastener Distributor Index, the FDI.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it was nice, and a lot of that information is relevant to what we do and shows trends and shows that you're either doing it good, doing it bad, or not doing it. The one thing we would like to see, and we hadn't discussed this yet, was we'd like to see more participation from more distributors.
Oh,
right.
You're talking to the choir, Kevin.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Just for your and the listeners' benefit, Bob Baer produces a terrific analysis graph every month of really a sort of a comparison really of the movement in the PMI and the movement of the FDI. And we have about 6 months with them up, and it's a great way of looking to see where things are heading. And Bob spends a lot of time doing it. It's a great graph, okay, to get the essence of the whole FDI and the PMI in one page.
Folks, you can see that at the FDI website, which is fdisurvey.com. Bob Baer, of course, with Abbott Interfast, and he's the current president of the MWFA.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was really nice. Like I said, we'd like to see more distributors participate in that. It would give a more true and accurate look at what's going on throughout the U.S.
And that took place at the Managers Forum, was that correct?
Yes, at the Business Executives Forum, actually. We do 2 different forums. We do the owners and the executives, and the executives really liked it. And everybody that talked about it, and we looked at it and said, hey, this is actually pretty good. We could all use this. And like I said, it's good at letting you know where you're going and if you're trending the same way as everyone else.
Yeah, that's one of the great features of the Pac-West conferences, how you guys do that. For listeners, everybody kind of groups off into two big conference rooms, one for the owners and one for the managers and executives, and a series of table topics are put out, and it's just a great chance to listen to what others in a similar situation are experiencing, ideas, current events, and so forth.
Yeah, it is. And it's good to share that information with everybody. And, like I said, we have similar problems, similar issues, and it's good to get together and talk about it and see, what other people are doing.
Yeah.
So aside from the FDI, was there a general theme? I mean, what were people talking about? What was the theme at the overall conference, would you say, just in the informal conversations and in the forums?
Basically the trend of business, and it's actually following the FDI, down a little bit. And that was the general trend everywhere.
Any other topics? Anybody talking about the Hall of Fame?
Yeah, what do we do with the bricks? That came up.
Exactly.
Right. It's come up in a number of different places, actually.
Yeah. We figure we put it together and we figured there's about a pallet of them. So anybody that's got room for a pallet of bricks with people's name on it, the good old-time Hall of Fame guys that earned their way onto those bricks, let Brian and Eric know what to do with them.
Right. Well, not us. I think Traveling Salesman's got that one. Really, that project's his. But, yeah, it's fun that the news really spread about that and everybody's got their own ideas. So one of the other highlights always of the Pac-West, and of course with the NFDA joining in, it must have been a real haymaker. Tell us about the big reception and what went on. What kind of games did you play, or what kind of amusement took on the big party this time?
It was actually a lot of fun. Getting together with that many people and playing Hollywood Game Night, it was a good time. So we got to see some real poor talent.
Hollywood Game Night is later on. Okay.
Yeah, we had some real poor talent out there. I mean, it was good. Yeah.
Now, explain what exactly is Hollywood Game Night? I mean, what's the setup there, Kevin?
We did it by table, and you go up and you get songs, and you have to sing them in do form, and the rest of your team has to try and figure out what it is. So yeah, that was a lot of fun.
Wow, kind of like musical charades.
Yeah.
Okay.
Then we ended up going on and having a really good Saturday program. We had the NAM guy come out and talk about what's going on in Washington and some of the laws that they're working on at this point and how to help protect manufacturing in the U.S. and onshore things instead of offshore things.
Yeah.
So, and then we ended up with Tom Riley again talking about more pricing and how to crush price objections.
And that was all done non-musically, I presume.
Yeah. We ended up having a very good time. For everybody that missed it, you might want to think about San Diego and the West Coast in the winter. It was 70 degrees and sunny.
Rub it in, man.
Yeah, right. Thanks. Okay.
Shorts weather every day.
Well, I guess the watchword is that Pac-West and NFDA did a great job of mixing a lot of fun and social events with a lot of really solid content, and that's what these conferences are known for. So, folks, if you haven't attended one of them before, you really should consider it, and I guess it kind of sells itself, folks listening to you, Kevin. I heard, actually, one other thing, that Mr. Bob Porteous joined the crowd, at least for one day, and that was kind of cool, seeing an old buddy who a lot of people don't get a chance to visit with anymore.
Yeah, Bob and Barry came out for the opening reception. NFDA was gracious enough to make them honorary members for life, and they came out and accepted their honorary status, and it was good to see them.
Oh, how cool.
Yeah.
I didn't get wind of that part of it. No, that's great.
It was very good. I think Casey McElhan and the NFDA crew and all the board of Pac-West got together and put on a really good program. It was nice.
Presumably at some stage you managed to take your flip-flops off and go for a wander along the sand. I mean, it was over just the road, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was right across the street, or if you wanted to go to the docks, it was in our parking lot.
Okay. That would be what I'd like. Okay.
Well, I don't know how much of this gloating I can take, guys, but it sounds like a wonderful event, and we're so glad Kevin Chavis of Star Stainless that you were able to recap it all for us, and we really do appreciate you joining us to fill us all in.
Thank you, guys. I'd like to point out that the next NFDA program is Louisville, Kentucky, coming up June 27th and 28th. Or if you want to join us out here in the West, next Pac-West conference is the fall conference in Portland, Oregon, September 28th through October 1st.
Sounds like 2 more fantastic events coming up. Well, thanks for filling us in, Kevin, and we'll be talking to you again real soon.
Thanks.
Thank you, guys.
Brian and Eric, Fully Threaded. We'll be right back.
Online Fastener Talk Radio. Hey, at least it kills time on long road trips. Fully Threaded Radio.
First, there was fire, and man said, "Fire, good." Then there was the wheel, and man said, "Wheel, good." With the invention of the wheel came the need for fasteners, and man loudly exclaimed, "Buckeye, good." Buckeye Fasteners, providing quality products since the dawn of man. The preceding message was brought to you by Buckeye Fasteners and the Ohio Nut and Bolt Company, proud Fastener Show sponsors of Old Rusty Bolt Beer, official beer of the Traveling Salesman. Tell them Grog sent you. Ugh.
Harry, how's your search for new software going?
We've looked at a lot of systems. Some were the same old technology, and others didn't seem like they knew much about what we did or needed. We did look at one company, crazy name though, I think it was InSqueakWell.
You mean INXSQL? That's InSQL. That's what we use. We've become much more efficient, and we've been able to offer our customers more services, which makes us more competitive.
Yeah, Inkswell, that's the one. They seem to be the only company that really understood what fastener distributors do for a living, and I found it easy to use.
Harry, it's InSQL, INXSQL. You don't pronounce the X. We buy a lot from several master distributors, and their direct connect simplifies the whole process. When we need pricing and availability quickly, we just hit the F12 key.
If you don't pronounce the X, why put it in there? A friend told me they get great support from NXQL.
Yes, with InSQL, our experience has been the same. Quality support. They know our business. And the best part is, no extra charges. With our old system, apparently nothing we called about was covered by support.
You know, Inkwell seems to be the right company for us.
They're called InSQL, INXSQL. Go to their website, www.inxsql.com, or call them at 877-446-9775.
Hello, this is Bob Baer, President of the Midwest Fastener Association, inviting you to join us this year on Tuesday, June 14th in Chicago, the heart of the fastener industry, for our tabletop show. This year our show will be held at the Belvedere Banquets in Elk Grove Village. Whether you are exhibiting or just an attendee, you can plan on an intimate and relaxed show atmosphere where you can meet with suppliers and customers. Although we are labeled a tabletop show, exhibitors include fastener manufacturers, heat treaters, platers, and other fastener service companies from all over the U.S. Immediately following the show is our popular bash, where you can enjoy a cocktail and network with friends in the industry. Finally, join us Wednesday, the day after the show, for the industry's largest fastener golf outing held at Schaumburg Country Club. Even if you don't golf, come on out and join us for dinner and networking. All of the details of these events and show passes can be found on our website at www.mwfa.net. Hope to see you there.
This is Rosa, the preferred riveter at Brighton Bass International. You're listening to Fully Threaded Radio with Eric and Brian.
Brian and Eric, back with you, fighting for truth, justice, and the fastener way of life. Fully threaded.
Yes. What else?
Hey, everybody, we've got the Fastener News Report coming up in mere moments. We also have a conversation with Gary Polipnick of Fastenal after that. I think you'll all find that very interesting. Stick around. Hey, Brad, I don't think I told you a couple days ago I had my own little Fastenal experience. Remember that meat slicer you gave me for Christmas?
Yeah. So don't get too upset, listeners, about the weirdness of me giving someone a meat slicer as a Christmas present, okay?
Well, I was actually getting ready to cut up some homemade bacon, and I went to go wash the blade, and the crappy little Phillips screws in there were, I don't know, some grade 2 junk, and stripped them all trying to get the blade out. Went over to my local Fastenal store and got just the parts I needed to drill those bad boys out and replace them with some stainless.
Good. Okay.
Little tale of fasteners for you.
Oh, brought down to the kitchen table.
That's right. Hey, fasteners are in everything, damn near.
Right.
And a lot of new experiences for me. Other new things going on in the world. There's a new fastener media entity out there. And to talk with us about that a little bit, we've got our old buddy Aaron Shushan from Specialty Sales. He should be on the line. You out there, Aaron?
I am here. How you doing, Eric? And how you doing, Brian?
Pretty good, mate.
Awesome. You guys are sounding great today.
Good. Now, I hope you are working out every day so that you can still fit into that fully threaded T-shirt.
Oh, yes. I've been working out, and I still wear your T-shirt all the time. So
good.
It's a very good quality polo shirt there.
Yeah, I was going to ask, was that the polo golf shirt or was that the old T-shirt? I thought the decals basically wore off all that first edition that we did, the T-shirts.
Right. No, this was the black one.
No, these are quality. They don't fade at all. Pretty good stuff.
Good to hear. Good to hear. Now, you're speaking with us today from Simi Valley, or is it Simi Valley? How do they pronounce it?
It's Simi Valley.
Got it. And you're involved in a whole new thing, aren't you? And why don't you tell us a little bit about it? It's something that's called Fastener Pulse, and it's a new media entity for the fastener industry. Well, what is it?
Well, it's basically it's a live weekly, I guess you could say, open forum or a roundtable discussion for industry professionals to discuss, current topics that are affecting all of us in our industry. So we like to get people on here, talk about different things, hopefully get some tips from them, maybe see what tools they're using or information that they have, and then we like to throw it around the table, and we all like to grow from it and see where we can go from there. So it's a neat aspect. We're using this program called Blab. It's kind of like a hopped up version of Skype. It's all video based and it's live streaming, so it's pretty neat.
Now, you've developed this along with your comrade in arms over there at Specialty Sales, Robert Lopez, and he's kind of the anchor, and you're the color man, and I think you're the guy at the controls as well. And it's something that's new in the fastener industry. It's a live, or it's a real-time video presentation, and listeners or viewers can participate by commenting in real time, or actually, I guess you got a hot seat, or is that what you call it, where people could actually video patch in?
Yeah, they can click on the button. It's called the call-in button, and it'll patch you right in there. And we try to keep our segment around a half an hour, and then at the end of that, we have an open mic where anybody that is sitting in the chat room can hop in and talk to us and give us their opinion. So it's a really neat new, I guess, way of trying to have people on in a discussion format.
Mm-hmm.
And if people can't join in live, then it's recorded and they can watch it on demand, similar to what we offer with Fully Threaded.
We're going to keep an archive of the past episodes or the past roundtable discussions that we do. So It'll be on fastener-pro-alliance.com.
So it's fastener-pro-alliance.com, and they go to the link. Which link is it?
There's a link called Cool Stuff, and then in there there's the Fastener Pulse podcast.
Okay, and it's called Blab, right?
Yeah.
Blabcasts?
Blabcasts.
Got it.
So I don't know if it's up to date yet. We're still we're working on getting some stuff put on iTunes too, so that's coming down the loop slowly but surely.
Well, I had a chance to check out a couple of the early episodes. As we record this, you've got 4 of them under your belt. Obviously, you're refining the show, and you've got a lot of ideas that you're going to try to tackle. But to give folks some idea about what kind of content you're working with, why don't you throw out a few of the subject areas that you've examined on the show thus far?
Well, we had a couple weeks ago, we had a guy from Amazon come on there and discuss about, having or selling on Amazon, the benefits, some of the things to overcome. quite an interesting guy. I guess he's got $10 million in sales in 2 years after starting on Amazon there. So we had him on the show. This week we're going to be talking about, the paradigm shift in our industry, about how a lot of companies are letting you as a supplier be hooked into, their ERP system or the back end and making purchasing a lot more automated. I think you know a little bit about that with Fastener Clearinghouse, I presume, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
So, after the show, maybe we could talk a little bit about that and see what kind of stuff you're doing. But I think it's a big thing going on in our industry with Bright and Best and all these people hopping on board with that. So that's going to be the topic this week.
Okay.
Well, that's real good, Aaron. Those are timely topics, and I'm sure that as time goes on, there's going to be a lot of interesting stuff covered. I guess your real challenge right now is just to get the word out there and to get as many of the live participants involved as possible. You've put yourself out on a limb there because I don't think we've said it yet, but so far you've been producing this Fridays at 10 Pacific time. Is that correct?
Yeah, Fridays at 10 Pacific time, and we picked that time because we felt that, Friday in the afternoon or just Fridays in general is probably going to be our best bet.
Oh, yeah, for sure. No, it's a total blow-off, man.
Yeah.
So anyway, yeah, it's going to be live, so you should get on there sometime. I know I think you were watching the other day, but I didn't see you in the chat room.
No, I have my ways. I've watched them all, Aaron. But I was kidding about the blow-off. I'll tell you, I've had some of my best success is getting the owners and top managers at companies when I call them Friday late in the afternoon. And I think when they're still in the office, those are the kinds of guys I like to talk to. But having said that, I'll say it again. I think your challenge is going to be to get a lot of people involved in real time. I'm sure you'll get some. And I think actually that over time it's going to be a worthwhile investment of certain people's time. So I wish you success with that. But the good thing is, as you pointed out, the shows are archived, and so they're going to have a lot of value as time goes on. I mean, I know a lot of people are interested in one of the topics you mentioned, the Amazon issue. I mean, that's very important in a lot of guys' minds right now.
Oh, I think you're correct that getting people to, show up at the show live is going to be our hardest thing. But with people like you helping us spread the word, hopefully it'll be a little bit easier.
Well, certainly hope so. You and Robert are two guys with some vision, and so we wish you success on that. Hey, before we move on, you're a guy who's got the pulse on a lot of different distributors. Of course, specialty sales. You guys serve, what is it now, California, Nevada, and Arizona. You're doing a lot in aerospace. What are you seeing out there?
Well, people are telling me that business is slow and steady. It's not down. So I'm positive looking forward to the rest of the year that it's going to be up. That's the aerospace market, so I got my fingers crossed. Not sure. What are you seeing? What are you guys seeing over there?
Nothing great.
Well,
don't know how to sugarcoat it. Okay.
Well, from the FCH side, we're happy to report that all systems are go, and February was actually a banner month. But like the great Holden Lewis one time said, we could be interpreted as somewhat counter-cyclical, so you never really can use us as a benchmark for the industry as a whole, I wouldn't say. But that's good to know. Folks who everybody knows Aaron, but if they want to get in touch with him, you can get out to his website. That's specialtysalesreps.com. And once again, he's involved with Fastener Pulse, which is a new multimedia show, I guess I'll term it, and that plays at 10 a.m. Pacific on Fridays. And once again, we wish you a lot of success with that one, Aaron.
Right.
Awesome. Appreciate it.
Yep. Well, the Fastener News Report's coming up here, folks, and today it's sponsored, as always, by Volt Industrial Plastics and Fastenal. I'd like to reach out to our title sponsors of Fully Threaded Radio. They are Stelfast and Lindstrom. Thanks, as always, to each and every one of you listening in, too, folks. Couldn't do it without you. And, hey, Aaron, you're still on the line here. Why don't you do the honors and bring on our news report?
All right. Thank you, Eric. And now, news about screws that you can use. Here is Mike McNulty.
You could take over Eric's job.
Thanks, Aaron. This is Mike McNulty from Fastener Technology International magazine bringing you the Fastener News Report, which is sponsored today by Volt Industrial Plastics, makers of the world's finest plastic fasteners. The Johnny Manziel era is officially over in Cleveland, but the city is getting ready for the excitement of this summer's Republican National Convention by spending federal grant money on 2,000 sets of riot gear to help the throngs of peaceful protesters feel welcome in Ohio, the heart of it all. Despite these distractions, I am still focused on fasteners and ready to deliver another edition of the Fastener News Report. In today's report, we're going to reveal the latest results of the Fastener Distributor Index, also known as the FDI. Also in today's broadcast, we have a top story from the Elgin Fastener Group and newsmaker headlines from Sherrick Fastening Systems, Lawson Products, Brainerd Rivet, MW Industries, USA Fastener Group, PSM International, and McLean Fogg Components. On the back page report, we're going to talk about fastener industry employment and large distributor momentum. We will get to all of that and last month's FDI results right after this.
Volt Industrial Plastics is the source for all your high-quality plastic fastener needs, and customer service is their number one priority. With almost 1 million fasteners in stock and same-day shipping on stock items, Volt Industrial Plastics carries inventory so you don't have to. Volt manufactures everything in-house from over 125 different materials, and they're proud to say 100% of their products are American-made. And of course, custom tooling and in-house bagging is available. Contact Volt online at www.voltplastics.com. Volt Industrial Plastics, makers of the world's finest plastic fasteners.
For a selection of hundreds of thousands of fasteners, check out your local Fastenal store or fastenal.com. We can stock domestic or internationally sourced product locally and keep your bin stock filled for you at no additional expense. We are a 9001-2008 certified company that's made a huge investment in quality control so you don't have to. And if you can't find it on our shelf, we can make it for you at the quantity you need at one of our many manufacturing facilities. Learn more by contacting your local Fastenal store or visiting fastenal.com today.
Mike McNulty.
In February, the FDI dropped again to its lowest level ever recorded to a seasonally adjusted number of 44.5, a slight decline from the January 2016 reading of 45.6. Fastener Distributor Index data is collected and analyzed by BB&T Capital Markets, the FCH Sourcing Network, and the National Fastener Distributors Association. The FDI seeks to identify demand, pricing, and outlook trends within the American fastener distribution industry. To get some insight on these results, Charles Redding, Senior Analyst at BB&T Capital Markets, joined us. Hi, Charles. Thanks for joining us on the Fastener News Report.
Hey, Mike. Thanks for having us.
So the FDI takes it on the chin for the first 2 months of the year and breaks the recently monthly pattern of oscillating above and below the 50-point line. What's your take on these results?
Sure. So for February, the print, again, 44.5, did remain in contraction for the month. And again, we're measuring sentiment on a sequential basis. So relative to January, we're simply asking participants, how did February sales stack up? And considering sales, 28% of respondents noted sequential improvement versus the prior month. So clearly this is low, at least from a sales perspective. I would note that the metrics for the balance of the survey were largely unchanged. Certainly we continue to see continuous or cautious sentiment from our survey participants with respect to employment, inventory, and pricing. And then in terms of the 6-month outlook here, respondents were also cautious with just 38% expecting stronger conditions 6 months from now. Now, despite the negative read here from our private contacts, we do believe there are reasons to believe the added declines could be approaching a bottom, and I can certainly get into that as we go.
Yeah, one thing, and you mentioned the 6-month outlook being weak, but I noticed that it wasn't as weak as it was in January. I remember we had 18% of the people in January thought it would be higher. Now it moved up to 38%. And then the people thinking it was going to be lower dropped from 43% to 21%. So maybe a little bit of a silver lining within the composite number.
Yeah, I think that is a fair point. And we do exclude outlook from the actual index, which we think is important because generally speaking, we think outlook as is more of a subjective measure just of kind of how things are going and how a particular respondent may feel about the overall environment. And I do want to be clear. The number was light, and certainly the data is what it is. But so if you just think about the balance of the macro picture, whether it's early stabilization in crude, whether it's continued gains in domestic construction, or just a stable overall jobs environment, our personal view is that it's reasonable to expect some stabilization in the larger environment for distribution here over the coming months. Now, whether that's more a March-April improvement or more a back half 16 improvements, timing's obviously difficult to say.
Now, in the report said you guys noticed some divergence between the FDI and some of the other select distributors that you guys talk to. Any comments on that?
And so we are starting to see a modest level of divergence between the FDI and the PMI. These are two metrics that have certainly been in lockstep throughout the decade, or throughout the decline since late 2014. But I would argue that the level of variance at the current positioning is certainly not uncommon, and certainly not to the degree that we experienced back in 2013. So I do still feel like this is a relevant metric, and we do feel like that we're getting good color here from our respondents.
Yeah, we also have some note here on like some of the comments section, people talking about. One comment was, we just have to make it through this rough period. Another respondent said they were expecting single-digit growth to start this month, which I think would be a welcome sign. And then another comment talked about the dollar, China's dollar, or currency in terms of the dollar and the economy struggling, translate to cheaper prices overseas. Any
Sure.
reading on that?
Sure. So again, it's been a perfect storm of headwinds, if you will, for the majority of fastener distributors here for quite some time. It's been slowing industrial production. It's been the stronger dollar. It's been slowing Canada, particularly West Canada. It's been the reduced commodity pricing, both direct and indirect, at least the impact of lower crude. And clearly no inflation, right? So there's less relative ability to push pricing. But again, in looking for positives, if you're looking, again, forward indicating, you're trying to get a sense of really how this environment is shaping up, call it a quarter or two out, we still feel like, particularly if you look at construction, now, again, we realize not all distributors are materially exposed here, but again, we do believe it's a modest positive for select providers. If you just think about construction in 16, we've certainly seen nice earnings beats from a number of companies who are more heavily exposed here, particularly non-res construction. Anecdotes from our solid waste guys are positive towards higher landfill volume here. That points to continued strength in C&D work. Other metrics like the Dodge Index have been positive here. And this morning we got another increase here for February. And residential has been positive, so we continue to see steady, if not spectacular, growth here. Single-family starts were up another 5% in January. Permits are elevated, particularly multifamily. And bottom line, we have no reason to think that, construction will stay a positive here in 16.
So in conclusion, it's a strained environment for distributors and manufacturers, but you're mentioning quite a few positive things going forward. Anything else to add on these results?
Yeah, sure. Again, so you got to consider not only the positive environment for construction, but certainly you got to think about the nascent improvement in IP. PMI has gotten a little better, still below 50, but looking up. And if there's one thing we can say that we're getting the negative responses from our private guys, but again, just the overall climate we think is conducive to some improvement here as we go, particularly as we see a little easier comps progressing into 16.
Well, I'm sure everybody would welcome some positive movement next month and going into the second quarter here.
Yeah, sure. And I mean, if you think about just March sales for like a Fastenal, certainly we'd expect March sales to be stronger here. Only once since 2008 have we seen a sequential sales decline in March sales for Fastenal. This was in 2009, and we certainly know about the pressure then.
Right.
On average, Fastenal has seen a sequential increase of 4.9% for the month of March since 2008.
All right. Well, sounds like March might be turn the FDI around for us.
we'll certainly see. We'll be watching employment closely. We'll be watching inventories. Certainly, any divergence from the PMI as well. But absolutely, we'll be watching closely.
All right, very good. Well, Charles, thanks for joining us today on the Fastener News Report.
Thank you very much for having me. It's nice to be here.
All right, keep crunching the numbers. That was Charles Redding of BB&T Capital Markets, and the FDI number for February was 44.5. To participate in the process and record your answers on the FDI survey, visit www.fdisurvey.com. Now for today's top story. Late last month, the Elgin Fastener Group, which is based in Brecksville, Ohio, completed the acquisition of Holbrook Manufacturing, a fastener maker based in Wheeling, Illinois. Founded in 2003, Holbrook has a state-of-the-art facility with single and multi-die cold headers, automatic screw machines, and secondary operation devices, as well as advanced tooling capabilities, including EDM wire technology. To get some insight on this news, we talked to Pete Wojnacki, Vice President of Sales and Marketing for the Elgin Fastener Group.
Well, we're excited to welcome Holbrook team to the Elgin Fastener Group. You know, they bring a lot to our company. They bring outstanding people, products, and manufacturing strength. They're going to add significantly to our product portfolio with a product line extensions on some of the things we currently offer, as well as access to new products and new customers. And as North America's leading manufacturer of system-critical fasteners, we're really pleased to add some of these new markets and new customers to our portfolio.
That was Pete Wojnacki of the Elgin Fastener Group. EFG is an integrated manufacturer combining ISO-certified legacy companies such as Ohio Rod Products, Leland Powell Fasteners, Chandler Products, Silo Fasteners, Quality Bolt and Screw, Northern Wire, Telefast Industries, Vegas Fastener Manufacturing, and Best Metal Finishing. Next up, today's Fastener Newsmaker headlines. Sherrick Fastening Solutions, based in Tonawanda, New York, an international supplier of engineered fasteners, tooling, and automation, has acquired Disc Lock Incorporated, an originator of wedge lock technology and a pioneer in the design and manufacturing of vibration-proof fastening systems. Lawson Products, an MRO distributor based in Chicago, has acquired Perfect Products Company of Michigan, a family-owned full-service fastener, bolt, nut, clip, and screw distribution company that specializes in offering products for domestic and imported vehicles. Brainerd Rivet Company, a cold-headed fastener manufacturer based in Girard, Ohio, is celebrating its 100-year anniversary this year. Brainerd specializes in steel and non-ferrous fasteners. Fastener distributor H&S Sales Incorporated in Buffalo, New York, has purchased Nut and Bolt Products Incorporated of Niagara Falls, New York. H&S's parent company is Great Lakes Fasteners of Cleveland, Ohio. Chicago-based MW Industries, a provider of springs, specialty fasteners, machine parts, and precision components, has acquired Houston-based USA Fastener Group Incorporated, a manufacturer of fasteners, studs, nuts, and precision machine parts. PSM International in Youngstown, Ohio, has opened a new flagship manufacturing facility in Wuxi, China, in order to meet increasing marketing demands for engineered fastening solutions. McLean Fog Component Solutions was named a GM Supplier of the Year by General Motors during its 24th annual Supplier of the Year Awards ceremony held earlier this month at the Cobo Center in Detroit, Michigan. In personnel news, Dallas, Texas-based Advanced Components has promoted Brad Burrell to National Sales Manager. Charlotte, North Carolina-based Falcon Fastening Systems Incorporated has appointed Charles DeBoot as Director of Sales. Glenville, Illinois-based Optimus OE Solutions has appointed Anessa Chiabi as Chief Executive, and Brighton Best International Los Angeles has announced the promotion of Jesse Portillo to the position of Branch Manager for its Los Angeles and San Francisco locations. Finally, let's turn to the back page to talk about fastener industry employment and momentum. Regular listeners of this program are familiar with our reporting on the Fastener Distributor Index, but many people may not be familiar with the depth of analysis on the fastener distributor industry that is done by BB&T Capital Markets. In particular, BB&T has a lot of insight on the employment and hiring scene, as well as on the momentum from select distributor titans such as Fastenal and Grainger. To get some of this insight, we talked some more to Charles Redding, Senior Analyst at BB&T Capital Markets.
So we would characterize the current environment still very much cautious in terms of hiring. Certainly in terms of our private survey participants, sentiment for hiring has been notably weak. Since last September, on average, just 10% of respondents have cited a sequential improvement in hiring versus the prior month. Again, this is very much consistent with Fastenal, which last week cited a continuation of its hiring freeze for all non-vending or IT-related personnel. But to the positive, we do think there's reason to expect some modest stalling here as 2016 plays out. Certainly nationwide, employment is holding steady at just under 5%. This certainly matches an 8-year low. Gains have been concentrated, retail, leisure, education, and construction. So we're still seeing the pressure within mining and manufacturing, but again, with some stabilization in commodity prices, we think this could be positive. And obviously, any added reprieve on the dollar helps. So we're watching wages closely, which have yet to gain any traction, but some improvement here could be another sign for a better labor environment long term. Obviously, the broad market has certainly seen some early relief over the last several weeks. Select investors are taking another look at less expensive names from a valuation perspective. You had the modestly positive early year sales prints from Fastenal and Grainger. And we've also seen a very early pullback in the dollar. Currently, the Canadian loonie has had some strengthening versus the dollar. It's at 75 cents, up from the trough in January of 69 cents. So, again, very, very early, but modest positive nonetheless. And obviously, any pullback in the dollar would be positive for our domestic manufacturers and U.S. exporters.
That was Charles Redding of BB&T Capital Markets, and this has been Mike McNulty of Fastener Technology International, bringing you the Fastener News Report. Remember to send your news, pictures, comments, corrections, or complaints to me at McNulty@FastenerTech.com.
Fastenal EVP Gary Polipnick is up next on Fully Threaded.
What makes Lindstrom a leading specialty fastener master distributor? For years, you've known Lindstrom as the premier name in metric fasteners, with an expanded product line that now includes the largest assortment of fasteners and components of any master distributor. Today, Lindstrom means much more than metric. At Lindstrom, we're focused on a single goal: to bring our distributors the perfect combination of convenience, flexibility, value, and choice, delivered by the most experienced sales team in the industry. For inch or metric fasteners, standard or special, in any finish, all packed to your requirements, turn to Lindstrom, where we have what you need and deliver it the way you want. To learn more about Lindstrom and our expanded brand of value-added products and services, visit LindstromFastener.com or call a sales representative at 1-800-572-5550. Lindstrom, by any measure.
ND Industries has been solving customers' toughest problems through innovative technologies, competitive pricing, and industry-leading service since 1955. A family-owned business, ND Industries manufactures and applies fastener locking, bonding, sealing, masking, and assembling products. Their pre-application process makes fasteners ready to use at the point of assembly, resulting in reduced labor costs, time savings, and superior quality assurance. As a fully integrated company, ND handles all aspects of operations, from formulating custom chemical compounds and coating fasteners to providing inline inspection, packaging, and delivery services. ND Industries serves the global market with 13 divisions in the continental U.S. and also facilities in Taiwan, China, and Turkey. Learn more about ND Industries at our website at www.ndindustries.com. ND Industries, innovative technologies, competitive pricing, and industry-leading service. Contact ND today.
The leading event for fasteners and fixings in Latin America takes place June 1st and 2nd at the World Trade Center in Mexico City. Connect with thousands of fastener and fixing buyers at the Fastener Fair Mexico 2016. Fastener Fair Mexico is produced by Mack Brooks Exhibitions, the leader in international fastener shows and organizers of the Fastener Fair in Stuttgart. This will be the second edition of the Fastener Fair Mexico, and as the only dedicated fastener event in Latin America, it is sure to be a huge success once again. Fastener Fair Mexico is the perfect opportunity to grow your business by reaching new prospective buyers and partners from Mexico, Latin America, and beyond. Whether your business is focused on automotive, aerospace, construction, electronics, or household appliance manufacturing, Fastener Fair Mexico is where you need to be. To exhibit, contact the Fastener Fair Mexico team at 781-791-5011. Mack Brooks also invites distributors from across North America to attend this exciting show. To receive an invitation to attend Fastener Fair Mexico as our guest, please join our mailing list at www.fastenerfair.com/Mexico. Once again, www.fastenerfair.com/Mexico. We look forward to seeing you June 1st and 2nd at the Fastener Fair in Mexico City, and bienvenidos to the North American fastener industry.
Well, this is Carmen Vertullo with your Fastener Training Minute, coming from the Carver Fact Center in San Diego, and of course representing the Fastener Training Institute. First, I want to tell you how excited I am about just finishing our first training program at the Carver Fact Center. It was about hydrogen embrittlement testing for fasteners. We had 13 students. We did 2 days of hands-on testing. We had Salim Brahimi join us by GoToMeeting on the big screen. He presented some stuff about the Bay Bridge and some other hydrogen embrittlement case studies. Everybody in the class got to experience hands-on Rockwell hardness testing and hydrogen embrittlement testing setup, and we had a great class. Every student, if you're listening to this, I just want to thank you for attending. Every one of you brought valuable input to the class. We had manufacturers, we had suppliers, we had a plating shop, we had end users. It was just a fantastic program, and we hope to do it again soon, possibly in Cleveland, so be looking for that. And anyway, this is the Fastener Training Minute, not the Carver Fact Center Advertisement Minute. I just had an interesting question today by email. One of our CFS students asked me exactly what kinds of stainless steels are magnetic and which ones are not. Well, when we come back, I'll tell you. This is Carmen Vertullo with the Fastener Training Minute.
Hi, everyone. It's Eric Dudas sitting in for John Walkman with upcoming Fastener Training Institute events. If you're in the Los Angeles area, on April 5th, it's the Fastener Manufacturing Plant Tour. This is a CFS class, and during this event, you'll get an up-close look at fasteners being made. AVK Industrial Products and R&D Fasteners will be two of the facilities that will be toured. Next, on April 15th, there's more to providing fasteners than shipping round metal parts with heads and threads. A webinar entitled Certifications, Test Reports, and Lot Traceability will be held at 11 a.m. Pacific Time on April 15th. Next, part of FTI's Advanced Continuing Education Fastener Program, Automotive Fastener Technology was created to provide a better understanding of automotive fasteners for fastener manufacturers, service providers, tier suppliers, and OEMs. This 2-day training emphasizes a hands-on approach along with in-depth technical content. Happening April 20th and 21st, this course will be held at the Embassy Suites in Troy, Michigan. For details on these and other FTI classes, visit the Fastener Training Institute website at fastenertraining.org. Now, back to Carmen with the Fastener Training Minute.
Welcome back, everybody. This is Carmen Vertullo with the Fastener Training Minute, coming from the Carver Fact Center and representing the Fastener Training Institute. The question was, which stainless steels are magnetic and which ones are not? And how can we tell? Well, first off, when we talk about magnetism, there's kind of two varieties. One thing is the thing actually magnetic? In other words, would it pick up something that was made out of steel or iron? Or is it susceptible to a magnetic field? That is, if we bring a magnet towards it, would it be attracted to it? When we talk about stainless steel being magnetic, we're generally talking about would it be attracted to a magnet? Well, we generally think that being non-magnetic is one of those properties of stainless steel, and it is for some. Stainless steels, such as what we generally call 300 series or 18-8 or the austenitic stainless steels, are generally non-magnetic. However, if we get a really strong magnet, like one of these neodymium magnets, it will jump right on almost any stainless steel. So if you want to test for magnetism, get yourself one of those magnets. You can pick them up at a hobby store or McMaster Car. Can I say McMaster Car? I love those guys. They're very cheap, a couple of bucks, and it's a good thing to have around. So other stainlesses besides those 18A stainlesses, such as the 400 series stainlesses, the ferritic stainlesses, 17.4 pH, and so on, can be quite magnetic, almost the same as steel. You can hardly tell the difference. So we're not usually too concerned about those. It's the problem that occurs when an end user uses a magnet to inspect their stainless steel fasteners and it sticks to the magnet and they think it's not stainless. Well, what happens is for these austenitic stainless steels, when they work harden, that is, when we head them, when we roll thread them, they become work hardened, and that work hardening tends to make the material magnetic. It aligns the molecules up in such a way that that happens. If we wanted to remove that magnetism, one way we could do it is by annealing the material. And we can easily demonstrate this. Take a small screw, like a small set screw or a small socket screw, 440, 632. It'll jump right onto one of those super magnets. Heat it red hot with a cigar lighter or something like that and try it again. It'll be totally annealed, no longer magnetic. If you wanted to continue the test, take that same screw, smash it flat with a hammer, and that would be a form of work hardening, and then that material will be magnetic again. So don't despair when your customer wants to reject your stainless steel material because it's magnetic. There are ways to prove it, and there are ways to train your customer around that. This is Carmen Vertullo with the Fastener Training Minute, coming to you from the Carver Fact Center and the Fastener Training Institute.
This is Pam Berry with Advanced Components. You're listening to Fully Threaded Radio.
Ryan and Eric back with you. Our guest on this segment is someone who's been long overdue for a reprise visit. He's someone who sees the fastener industry from a unique perspective because he operates at the senior level at the world's largest fastener distributor, and that is Fastenal. I'm speaking, of course, of Fastenal Executive Vice President of Fastenal Solutions, Mr. Gary Polipnick, and he's joining us today from beautiful Winona, Minnesota. Hey, Gary, thanks for joining us once again.
It is a sunny 65 degrees here for this early March 8th. Very nice here.
It's nice everywhere.
Yeah.
Well, I know you're
golfing weather.
I was just going to say, I'm not much of a golfer, but as Austin Powers would say, that's your bag, baby.
Yeah.
I have to imagine you're probably planning on hitting the links pretty soon.
Well, that used to be my bag. I haven't golfed in almost 5 years due to a little back issue, but I've been told I'm still pretty good at the 19th hole.
I'm better at that one in very small amounts than I am at any other one, actually.
Well, anyone that talks like you do is going to be good at the 19th hole.
No. My experience is that at the 19th hole, no one understands anything I'm trying to order. Okay, I usually have to lean over the bar and point to things.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Well, maybe you should take it easy out on the course before you get there.
We'll go back to the fact that you haven't played golf for a few years, and then you should tell us what, for you, is the definition of a bucket of bolts.
Well, I had a spinal fusion back in 1990 when they weren't real sure what they were doing, and just had, it lasted a good 25 years, and just through some bad luck, I bent over funny to pick up my suitcase, and my fusion broke. So I didn't realize or didn't remember that they didn't have MRI machines back in 1990, at least at the hospital I went to. So I had to have my hardware removed, which I have in a little bucket right here on my desk. I had the hardware removed so they could rescan so the metal wouldn't like pull through my skin. So
and you carry it around with you, huh? You're a true fastener man.
I carry it with me everywhere I go. Yeah, because they're kind of like miniature lag bolts, about 5/16 diameter. They're probably metric, but
what is that, Monel?
I believe they're titanium.
Uh-huh.
They're not real heavy.
Well,
wanted to keep
they're in
my
the
weight
right
down.
place. I mean, you could
That's
sit
right.
on your desk and people would think, "Oh, this is pretty cool. We must sell those things."
Exactly.
Yeah, so you have them with you up there in Winona. Last time we visited you at your office in Madison, you had them there on your desk as well. So what is that, something you carry everywhere you go?
Just looking for some sympathy whenever I can get it.
That's right. Yeah.
I can't ask for strokes anymore, but you never know what you can get out of that. Maybe a better parking spot. Who knows?
Yeah. Right.
Well, last time we spoke with you, Gary, you had a slightly different title with the company, and I know there was a change of the guard at the helm of the company recently. So why don't you tell us what exactly you're doing these days with Fastenal, and what is Fastenal Solutions?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, sure. First of all, pleasure talking to you guys. I think I was on one of the top 10 episodes when you were first getting started, and congratulations also for not just the radio show, but for managing to be in business as long as you guys have. That's pretty good.
Appreciate that.
But yeah. Anyway, in 2012, I moved up to Winona, and I was promoted to be the Executive Vice President of Sales for what we deemed our Western Business Unit. And then I did that for 2.5 years, and then in April last year, I was asked to lead our growth drivers, which we call Fastenal Solutions, which really includes our CSP, our store set, our on-site program, our vending program, our Fastenal managed inventory, and then the new store openings that we have. And then on a defensive note, I'm involved with working on displacing our non-contributing inventory, which is really where you guys come into play and where we've met. So, yeah.
That's where we first met you up in Madison, isn't it?
Yeah. I think back then Lovey Smith was your head coach. And I see now, as of yesterday, he's back in Illinois, only with the Fighting Illini.
This is true.
So you've got your Lovey back. Good for you.
Yeah, it was announced this morning, I think. So
yeah,
you're right. Cool. Well,
Very
I remember
good.
those. I remember those very interesting days. That's a long time ago now. When you actually were describing to me a problem that's not specific to Fastenal, but it was a problem of people defining washers differently.
Yeah,
and hence doubling up on ordering new washers when they already had one.
You came up with your scrubber, your infamous scrubber.
Yeah.
And you came up with an ingenious way of labeling what other companies typically just call surplus. And, of course, in Fastenal parlance, that's non-contributing inventory. I really like that.
Yeah. We've got acronyms for everything here.
Right.
As probably do most companies.
Now, your previous position, you're in charge of the Western, that was that was west of the Mississippi, wasn't that what they're defining?
Correct, yeah. Okay. Except for Texas, but it included Indiana and Ohio.
Okay.
Well, it sounds like you're involved with quite a lot at that company, and we appreciate your comments there a few moments ago about our longevity, such as it is.
Mm-hmm.
And we're also glad you could return to the podcast and share some of your insights with the listeners. And we're also very glad for Fastenal's solid ongoing support for the podcast and with the FCH Sourcing Network. But let's dig right in with your take on the industry right now. You're a reader of the monthly FDI report, and during episode 101 of the podcast, you were quoted as saying that lots of companies out there are reporting they're having a rough time. So what are we looking at in the fastener industry from your vantage point?
Well, I'd have to say from a fastener standpoint, things have stabilized a little bit for us anyway. Guessing the same for many of our good competitors out there. One of the challenges that we have at Fastenal, or the ongoing challenge that we've had, is as big of a fastener distributor as Fastenal is. Fasteners as a percentage of revenue continues to decline a little bit, 42% in 13, 40% in 14, and 38.3% in 15. And that's not really due to losing market share. It's more that our vending program has really catapulted some of the other categories of products that we sell, specifically safety, because safety really goes hand in hand with vending. A lot of the items, the PPE items, are good vendable items. So that area of our business has grown to the same amount our fastener revenue or percentages have declined. So things are pretty steady, I'd say, with the fastener business. The problem that many of us distributors are having is the amount of product or the amount of manufacturing that's going on with the customers that we do have is substantially lower than it should be or could be or has been. So we've noticed that, again, like most businesses, our top customers represent a good portion of business in every store, every district, every region, and even for the company. And when your big customers are down 25, 30, 40, even 50% in volume, it takes a whole lot of other business to come on to try and keep that number even just flat. And we were somewhat pleased to come out of February with some modest growth of just over 2%. So we're up just under 3% for the year in 2016.
And those percentages, those apply to the fastener business or the business as a whole?
That would be the business as a whole. Our fastener business has come back, I should say, a little bit. It's not declining. But it's holding steady when you look at month over month.
Yeah, I think I saw a story headline on fastenernews.com that reported 1.5% growth in manufacturing in February. That's not doing too bad for 1 month, where a lot of guys were reporting some pain.
Right. It's tough out there, as I'm sure all of us can admit.
Oh yeah, I think there's a problem. But the thing which is interesting at the moment, which is that the view is that the fastener distributor index should lead the manufacturing index slightly. We don't know to what extent, but in the graphs that Bob Baer from Abbott Interfast has been making, clearly there's almost at the moment like no connection between the manufacturing index and the distributor index, the fastener distributor FDI. The manufacturing index is going up and FDI is continuing its sink.
It's really difficult to put a finger on anything nowadays, and many of us that sold into the the oil and gas industry, whether it's for, maintenance and repair orders or original equipment manufacturing, it's really hard to measure the trickle down effect because, maybe the big guy might be picking up, but he's got inventory that he's sitting on, or maybe the small manufacturer that isn't tied directly to one of the big names out there in oil and gas. Those businesses are really suffering because they kind of live and die by that oil industry. So luckily we're diversified enough. It obviously has a big hit on all of us, but you just don't know to what extent. You can't really put a specific number on it because it really affects a lot of things, from infrastructure to hotels being built, you name it. Up in North Dakota, things were booming, and now it's almost at a standstill. And I can imagine, Texas and other locations being the same.
Yeah, it has a big impact just on the money flow in the country. I mean, as it comes down to even in people's pockets, slightly cheaper gas means there's more money flows out there, but it's not flowing into the companies.
Right. I'd rather pay a little more for my fuel and keep everybody employed, to be honest with you, but that's just my 2 cents.
Well, I think a lot of people share that view. And speaking of sinking commodity prices, of course, steel is in the same position as well as other metals and other commodities. What do you read in the commodities market, given that there's a lot of speculation out there? I think the smart money is projecting at least several more quarters, possibly more, of commodity deflation. How does Fastenal react to that?
Well, I think those of us in distribution really just need to be careful with how we reorder our inventory or replenish the inventory that we're selling. And it's almost like playing commodities or playing futures, to where you need to have enough product to keep your supply chain full. But if you believe prices are going down, you don't want to buy too much product at one price, only to know that had you waited a little bit, you could have paid a little bit less. And I think the bigger the distributor, the harder that game is to play. On the flip side, when there's a little bit of inflation, the bigger companies have a little bit better of an advantage, because they might have 4 to 5 to 6 months inventory on hand of any given group of products. So, inflation in our industry, I think we all would have to agree, is a little bit is one of those positive things for us.
Mm-hmm. What do you see about, what do you think is going to be the effect of the Chinese trying to reduce or rebuild some of their economy to get away from a bit of overproduction? Do you think that's going to really affect steel, or are they just going to try and dump steel everywhere?
I don't, I'm not educated enough to give a scientific answer, but my, one thing I've never really understood is how, as far as the Chinese economy goes, what actually stays there for internal use and what actually makes it out and goes everywhere else. Mm-hmm. So it does seem like it would be a logical thing that would help us all if their economy came back a little bit, to drive demand a little bit more and get people manufacturing more products here in the United States as well.
Right, and I wanted to touch on that before I make that present that question. I'll make the comment that the surprising segment of what China produces is used domestically. We get the sense that they export everything because we bring so much in, but it's just amazing how much they use domestically, and they've got a lot of issues there. So it's a huge issue. You're right. I'm not educated enough probably to make a great statement on it either, but I know that that's true. So speaking of domestic manufacturing and getting back to commodity deflation, do you see any material evidence that maybe the steel price situation is kind of putting a damper on domestic manufacturing this is from your perspective at Fastenal?
I would definitely say yes. I think from whether it's the mining that's going on in many different locations, from iron ore up in northern Minnesota where things have been idled, to many of our customers out west as well in the mountain regions are really slow compared to what they have been in the past, idling mines, not doing what they're doing, and that kind of just trickles again down to the guys, the companies that are making pumps and transportation and tanker cars, and the list just goes on and on. So I believe that from that standpoint, it has a big impact.
Yep.
I avoided that question.
Yeah.
That wasn't a very good answer, but...
Well, we'll take it. I don't think anybody really has a better read on it. So
right. They're all looking at the crystal ball and thinking, well, what does this mean?
Right. Well, let's shift gears then and talk about something that you know all about. You mentioned the CSP 16 initiative. Tell us all about that, Gary.
Okay, we finished 2015 with just over 2,600 locations. About 2,500 of those are in North America, and what we've done is we're working on a strategy to continue to try and take care of customers same day. And you hear about Amazon and others that are, online companies that are starting to creep into the industrial market. Our go-to-market strategy of having, a store within 10, 15 minutes of most of our customers. So we've got the brick and mortar. Now let's put more inventory in our stores so we can take care of our customers the same day. So what our CSP 16 initiative did is it really, I kind of use the analogy how you can go to a McDonald's and always get a number 2, 2 cheeseburgers, fries, and a Coke. And so what we wanted to make sure happened is that all of our Fastenal stores had the same nucleus of product. Now, some might have a little bit more or have some additional items, but we wanted to make sure that every store had the same 10,000 items that they have now. So we've added about 900 items to our standard store. Some of that would be increasing just the quantity of parts that are the same. Say it's a rain suit or construction cones. Instead of having 30, you have 70, things like that. And then it's really broadening out some other lines to where when we've done our analysis to see sales that we've missed, what products do we need to have in our stores so the customer can come in, get what they need, and get back to doing their job, whatever that might be. So we are about halfway through with all of our stores. It's a big job for our folks out in the field because unfortunately we don't have set teams that can go over and reset 2,500 stores. So we're relying on our district managers and store personnel to get the product merchandised and displayed properly when we get it in. So we're sending it out over a 8-week period. So this week you're going to get these 54 items and here's where they go. Next week these are the items that coming in. They go where you already have existing inventory, but there's just going to be more of it. So our merchandising team has done a really nice job laying out a plan to where our folks in the stores can get out and service customers, but spend a little time at the end of the day re-merchandising their store. So over about a 2-month period, the store from start to finish should have a nice looking facelift on it.
Okay. I just want to go back to something, and you mentioned Amazon and the same sentence, McDonald's. And I know that over our long association with Fastenal, Fastenal has spent a lot of effort, and I think it's been well spent in actually putting in place a fairly good website, okay? And it's, it has what we would call good search engine optimization. I mean, you type something and you'll be led to Fastenal very often, okay? So that's good. A lot of people hope for that. To what extent do you think you compete with Amazon in terms of in the fast industry and buying fasteners? Okay.
Well, I think anyone that thinks Amazon is not a competitor at all is probably missing the boat. We don't feel extremely threatened by them. And the reason that I say that is many of our business that we are in primarily as distributors, Fastenal and probably most of the companies that listen to the podcast, we're in more of a service industry. And so we know to this day even we have people that will, drive 5 miles to save $3. But if you're a large organization and you are going to order your supplies strictly from Amazon, they do a great job. They have a great website. They do a great job fulfilling their orders and shipping, but that's kind of where it stops. So the product shows up at the receiving dock, and then what? So then somebody's got to receive it in. Somebody's got to figure out who ordered it. Somebody takes it and puts it somewhere else, and then what happens? So while I believe, and heck, I use Amazon to order things for myself at home. No fasteners though, but I think they have their place in the market. I really do. But I think customers that are really looking for something more than a transactional supplier are going to use a company like Fastenal or some other kind of a distributor to buy their goods. So we see them as a very as a competitor, but we're not. I don't go to bed worrying about Amazon at night. I think they're a great company, but I think we might be right now anyway in two different spaces. Mm-hmm. But that's not to say things can't change.
No, don't rely on Amazon staying the same. But the fact is, though, that, if you analyze the distributor industry, fastener distributor industry in the US, it exists really because people are looking for more than just someone who can sell them a box of bolts.
Yeah, I think the thing many of us, myself included, use the internet for is to really do some research to see about what things should go for. And so we all need to be competitive. I don't believe we all need to be the lowest price provider, whether it's fasteners or safety supplies or milk and eggs. You have to provide a quality product at a fair price, and you need to give really good customer service because there's a lot of choices out there for all of us to go buy products somewhere else, whether it's where you get your coffee in the morning, get your gas, or where you pick up your 3/8 hex nuts.
Well, that's a great comment, and I think we'd all agree that when it comes to fasteners being your bread and butter, the margins in many cases are so narrow that it really remains to be seen whether Amazon's going to get their arms around this anytime soon. Right now what they're doing is kind of poking at the edges, but I agree with you, Brian, that you can't count them out. But let's move from online selling, retail selling, to one of your other objectives or your endeavors, and that is the vending business. A couple years back, 2 years back, I'd say, there were lots of headlines about Fastenal's push into vending, further push, I should say. And how's that going?
Well, it's going real well. Actually, we celebrated our 50,000th device last June, I believe it was, at a Terex plant in Fort Wayne, Indiana. We finished the year with just over 55,000 devices out in the marketplace. So that's either a coil machine, a locker setup, or we have some beverage machines and other equipment for cutting tools and lockers with scales on them, things of that nature. But I think what we've been able to pull off with the leadership, the prior leadership at Fastenal, is really making it convenient for your customer to buy. And people are, in manufacturing, you can only cut so many heads. So you need to look for other ways to save money. And if it's forcing people to remember their gloves and safety glasses so you don't have to hand out a new pair every day, if it's getting inventory closer to the point of use, we all do it now with our VMI programs, but if we can control consumables 100 yards away from the tool crib and save that worker from having to walk 10 minutes one way and 10 minutes the next way back to get back to doing your job, I think those are substantial ways of real cost savings, real money savings, let alone the consumption reduction is a little bit less. So we've been fortunate because we've been able to make vending affordable for the average customer. 5 years ago, it used to, it was the Delta Airlines and Kimberly-Clark's of the world, the really big companies that saw the value in the vending, and it was much more expensive. But now we're seeing any plant with 50 people thereabouts or more could probably benefit from some kind of a vending device, dispensing device. So that continues to bode well for us. We're continually working with our partner Apex to develop different types of devices for other applications. We're experimenting, and actually we've already had some luck with modifying shipping containers. A 8 by 20 foot shipping container, and making that into a miniature Fastenal store that holds 4 vending devices and a locker. We put a security camera system inside if you so choose to, so you can keep track of who's coming and going. But again, getting product at the point of use, nobody wants to own any inventory anymore. So if we can solve that problem by having the product right there where the customer needs it, and they don't pay for it until they vend it, we see that as a win-win for both us and the customer. So the vending is going strong, and we actually believe that the market that we initially thought we had for a number of devices is substantially higher than what we originally thought. So you'll see Fastenal out there continuing to work with the vending program.
Well, that's very cool to hear. Of course, that's bringing to fruition the original vision that Bob Kurland had for the company years back, isn't it, in some form? I don't know that he would have possibly envisioned these Google-esque high-tech cartons coming in with your product, but nevertheless, it's coming to fruition.
You think about the old cigarette machines where you put the coins in and pulled the knob,
right?
And the carton dropped. Bob's prototype is actually in his office. They actually built one from his print that he and one of the Jack Remick, one of the other founders, put together. And they made that for him a few years and presented it to him. But I think what they found is not everything fits in a size of a cigarette box. So unfortunately, instead of 2,622 vending cigarette machines out there, we've got 2,622 4,000 square foot boxes to take care of our customers.
Right on. Well, in lieu of a better segue, let me just change topics here. And I want to ask you about something that is also really a lot in the headlines these days in the fastener industry. Incidentally, folks, we're talking with Executive Vice President of Fastenal, Mr. Gary Polipnick. The subject is millennials in fastener industry. And let me just say that the couple of times that I had the chance to visit the Fastenal headquarters in Winona, Minnesota, you really get a positive vibe. I mean, there's a huge training center there, as well as a lot of other things going on. But the young people going through your training are, from my experience, very enthusiastic, and you're really putting them through various facets of fastener training. And I'm just wondering, does Fastenal have a strategy, or do you recognize this millennial phenomenon?
We definitely do. One interesting statistic for 2015 is we had our employees did over 480,000 trainings. They could have been an online training or an in-person training. Many of the trainings are done on Fastenal's virtual campus. So it could be as simple as how to measure different types of fasteners. So you go through, there's a video, there's some examples, and then you go through and test out the fact that you know how to measure a flathead socket cap screw, a carriage bolt, a hex bolt, a machine screw, whatever it might be, shoulder bolt. We teach people how to measure all of these different things so they can, when they're on the telephone, I just said telephone. When they're on the phone with people, or
you're not a millennial, are you?
Yeah, or they're with them in person, we can speak intelligently to our customers and know how to measure the parts that they may be interested in procuring. So we do a lot of online training. We've also we're implementing a new sales management system. A fellow by the name of John Soderberg that I work with is the Executive Vice President of Sales Operations. And John has really helped our stores streamline their book of business, the customers that they work with and that they should be working with. And we'll be utilizing iPads. We've got the MC70s and MC65s that we use in both of our stores for inventory management systems and a lot of scanning for FMI programs, managed inventory, where you scan the barcodes. Yep. But we're starting to roll out iPads so we can not only do things by just pushing the touch screen to reorder parts. We can also do quotes immediately for the customer. We can show our customers a video of how a part might be manufactured, or if we need to pull up a print on a part, we can simply go to fastenal.com, enter in the part number, and provide our company with a print. Email it to them right on the spot. So those are the things that we realize, not only to capture time in our store, but these younger folks, they don't even have to always be younger folks. People coming out of school right now are accustomed to utilizing technology to do almost everything. And so I'm in my early 50s, and I don't think my kids know what it was ever like to not have a cell phone or see mom and dad without a cell phone. So the times are a-changing. We've got to keep up with it. We feel like we're a good technological company. From the vending is using technology. There's a lot of mechanics behind it, but it's technology. The reorder points that we're utilizing with the information coming from the devices to help make it more efficient, so you don't, in the old day, you'd go out, you'd check inventory, you'd come back, you'd pick the order, you'd go back again and put it away. So we're saving time by understanding what our customer needs before they know they need it, so we can bring it back out in replenishment. Replenish the product. As us fastener guys all know, everything's good until somebody knows who the fastener supplier is, because once it gets to the purchasing agent's desk about we're out of a 3/8 nut or a spring pin or a cotter pin or something that costs a nickel, that's the last phone call you want to get. So we need to be more efficient in how we service our customers, so we can keep up the pace with everyone out there. And a lot of our competition is doing some really neat things as well with how they're servicing their accounts. So for all of us, it's like taking money out of the transaction. Can we get the part to the customer to where their first touch is when they apply it to whatever it is that they're making or selling?
Mm-hmm. Well, embracing technology is definitely something that millennials will appreciate. I'm just curious, though, given you don't have the advantage of having seen the results of the recent Young Fastener Professional Survey, I have to ask you, though, in addition to all of that, would it be okay if I showed up at 10:30 wearing flip-flops with my dog?
If they were steel-toed flip-flops and your dog was to help you see, we'd probably be cool with it. But
somehow I knew you were going to say that.
Yeah, it's. I mean, we all need to maintain a professional image. We all need to get past the fact that people in their 20s now are not like we are when we were in our 20s. And I think back to the music, growing up that my mom and dad listened to on the radio, and you're like, oh my goodness. And, now I hear the music that is on the radio now, and I'm like, oh my goodness. So you either need to get with it and adapt and change, or get passed by. So as a company, and I'm guessing we're not alone with this, we all need to find a way to adapt to attract good quality people to our organizations, because at the end of the day, that's really what matters. It's how good are the people that work for the company that you represent, and are they trustworthy, and would you buy from them? So that's our goal. I got to meet 40 new managers this morning, and we talked about a lot of different things, but a lot of their concerns or questions that came up were to do with something electronic, whether it was, a help desk question or whether it was something to do with training. But I believe people that want to excel at their positions are going to find a way to learn what we've learned in a much faster fashion and become, I guess, more productive as fastener salespeople. I will admit that I am quite impressed that there is actually a association for young fastener salespeople. We got to get the word out to our Fastenal folks on that one. Impressive. Did you start that, you guys?
No, there were a couple of millennials, oddly enough, that started that, and I'll get you that info, Gary. But it's young fastener professionals, and there were a couple of people that were behind that, spearheaded it, and it's gaining steam, I would say. So, it's a good organization to be aware of. Hey, listen, I know that you have to run to a meeting very shortly, so we're going to wrap up here. But I wanted to, first of all, congratulate you on everything you're doing. You've got your arms around a lot. You're juggling a lot. And you guys, since last time we spoke, have a new driver out there on the Nascar circuit. He's car 17. That's Ricky Stenhouse Jr. Congratulations on that as well. He's holding his own out there.
He is. I never in a million years thought I'd be watching cars run around in circles, but I have to admit that I pay attention to when the race is on, and I do watch. I might not watch the entire thing, but I've had the good fortune of going out to see some of the races, and Ricky really is a good guy, a likable young man, and we're proud to have him representing Fastenal for sure.
Well, that's great. I'm going to take some heat for saying it now that I'm an Ohio guy, but, in this case, go blue.
Go blue. Go blue is good. Or you could say go Badgers. We got the Big Ten tournament coming up.
I wondered how long it was going to take. Okay.
Yeah. All right. Well, guys, it was good talking to you.
Our pleasure, mate.
Appreciate your partnership, and we are having some success. On the Fasteners Clearinghouse website, that's for sure. We get inquiries daily, and we're moving some of our non-contributing inventory as well. So looking forward to continuing that partnership as well, guys. So
good.
Thanks for everything.
FCH, it turns non-contributing into contributing. I like that.
That's right.
Thanks for helping me with that marketing jewel.
Yep.
Hey, it's been Gary Polipnick, Executive Vice President at Fastenal. Brian and Eric. We'll be right back with more Fully Threaded Radio.
They're like more cowbell for the fastener industry. Brian and Eric. Fully Threaded Radio.
For a selection of hundreds of thousands of fasteners, check out your local Fastenal store or fastenal.com. We can stock domestic or internationally sourced product locally and keep your bin stock filled for you at no additional expense. We are a 9001-2008 certified company that's made a huge investment in quality control so you don't have to. And if you can't find it on our shelf, we can make it for you at the quantity you need at one of our many manufacturing facilities. Learn more by contacting your local Fastenal store or visiting fastenal.com today.
When top quality and outstanding service are at the top of your list in fastener suppliers, turn to Stelfast. Since 1976, Stelfast has grown to become an industry-leading importer and manufacturer of the highest quality industrial fasteners, specialty items, and automotive parts. Our array of facilities across North America and in Asia, along with full quality control labs and ISO 9001-2008 certifications, ensure the highest quality parts, and at Stelfast, they're delivered with undisputed service excellence. We're family-run and dedicated to your success. Our customers have come to depend on the expertise of our staff and the quality of our products. We also offer a wide range of secondary services to meet some of the toughest requirements you might have. Contact Stelfast today through our website at www.stelfast.com and put us to work for you. Stelfast. Service you deserve, people you trust.
I don't have time to look for the best price for a socket head cap screw zinc plated with a patch.
Solution Man can. Let me handle all of your secondary processes, and I'll even ship the finished product. One price, one purchase order, one invoice, and one shipment equals one solution. Visit the Solution Industries website for details at solutionind.com.
Solution Man, you're my primary source for secondary processes.
Good one.
Hi, this is Hugh Hewitt for the Injured Marine Semper Fi Fund, www.semperfifund.org. Over the past 7 years, twice a year, the wonderful people who operate the Semper Fi Fund and many amazing Marines who have been the beneficiaries of the charities that have supported the Semper Fi Fund, including many thousands of individual donors, have come into my radio studio to tell their amazing stories of serving their country, of being wounded, and how the Semper Fi Fund has helped them make that transition back to recovery. Unfortunately, Bethesda and Walter Reed are full again. More and more men and women are coming back from the war injured, sometimes awfully so. We need the Semper Fi Fund to be there for these Marines and those soldiers, sailors, and airmen who served alongside of them. Please consider a gift to the Semper Fi Fund. Very low overhead, extraordinary capacity to get money where it needs to get in a hurry, and great management, including some of the senior Marines who've ever served under the flag. When you're looking for something to do that will make an impact, please check out the Semper Fi Fund. That's www.semperfifund.org, www.semperfifund.org.
This is Rick Porter with Mid-Valley Distributors, the largest stocking distributor of fasteners in Central California. If we don't have it, weld it. You're listening to Fully Threaded Radio.
Well, Bri, we were long overdue to have Gary Polipnick back on the show. It was great to hear from him.
That's right. And I remember the early dealings with him, and he gave us some great directions on some of the ways, especially with how we dealt with washers, and we did a lot of work with that. It was very good, actually. A long time ago that is now.
Yeah, it's going back a few years. Well, it's good to have Fastenal on board, and it was good to have Gary with us, that's for sure. I wanted to point out one thing. We were talking about the deflationary commodity environment, and lo and behold, right after we recorded with Gary, got word from one of our contacts who works in Taiwan and China extensively, and didn't get a lot of detail on this. We'll be investigating it, but he was actually pointing toward higher steel prices coming out of that part of the world, giving us a little bit of a heads up. As I said, we'll try and research that a little bit for next episode. But then the next day, saw a Bloomberg report that said that iron ore prices surged 19% in one day. That report came on March 8th, and that'll no doubt have some effect on steel prices.
Right, in a fair while, but we'll see. There's plenty of places supplying iron ore to China at the moment.
Point is, the commodity environment is unclear, like damn near everything else in this world these days, huh?
Right, yeah. Don't like it, wait 5 minutes. It's like the weather in Texas.
Or Chicago or elsewhere.
Yeah, right.
So we'll thank Gary Polipnick of Fastenal once again for joining us on the podcast, as well as our other guests. Today they were, from the Pacific West Fastener Association and Star Stainless, Kevin Chavis. Also, of Specialty Sales and Fastener Pulse, we talked to Aaron Shushan. Also like to thank Charles Redding of BB&T Capital Markets. He joined Mike McNulty on the Fastener News Report today. Did a pretty good analysis of what we're seeing in the FDI, if anybody could actually understand some of that shop jargon he was throwing around. But
so if you don't, go and polish it up, okay? So next time you can understand it.
Well, it's always good to have different perspectives. We have various people comment on the FDI, and there's room for everybody. But Charles is the one who crunches the numbers, and he's got a bird's eye view. So thanks to him and Mike McNulty this time. Carmen Vertullo had the Fastener News Report. Great job as always, Carm.
Yep.
The title sponsors of Fully Threaded Radio are Stelfast. Stelfast, service you deserve, people you trust. And Lindstrom and the Lindstrom family of companies. Lindstrom, by any measure. Fully Threaded is also sponsored by Buckeye Fasteners, Fastenal, Fastener Technology International, InSequel Software, Indie Industries, The Worth Group, Trinity Hardware Headquarters, Volt Industrial Plastics, and Solution Industries, home of Solution Man. Hey folks, if you have comments or feedback, please get with us anytime. The email address, ftr@fullythreaded.com. Out there on Twitter, the handle's fullythreaded.
And we actually look forward to comments, okay? Constructive or otherwise. But we only really get constructive comments.
By and large, that's absolutely true. Of course, at this point in the podcast, we're going to close it out now, and we could change all that.
Oh, what have you got lined up?
Well, we don't go out of our way to irritate people. I have to say that. We opened the podcast today with some comments from Attorney General Loretta Lynch. She was responding to questioning from Senator Whitehouse, and they had to do with criminalizing free speech on the subject of anthropogenic global warming, which I think we're pretty solidly on record as noting is a complete fraud and a hoax. And at this point, folks, if that's a sore subject with you, if you need to go to a safe space, for Brian Musker and Eric Dudas, it's Fully Threaded. We'll talk to you next time. But for everybody else, we don't go out of our way to call people names or offend people, but we have to say it this way. When you talk about criminalizing or even considering the idea of criminalizing free speech, especially on a very controversial scientific subject that is far from settled and a topic that there are very strong opinions on both sides, you got a problem. And for the most part, I think people who are doubtful or are certain that this whole issue is really a fraud, and it's something that we just let the so-called warmists believe, that we're happy to let you believe that. But when you talk about putting us in jail, well, it's time for people to really perk up and start defending against this, because this is still America. There is still a First Amendment, and throwing RICO statutes around to ensnare this and force your view, your flawed and fantastical view, that's where things get pretty frightening for me.
Well, if you were Stalin, you wouldn't think that was a problem. I mean, it's exactly what happened there. And they didn't even have a form of free speech to begin with, but they certainly didn't after the Soviets got in.
Well, you're right. I mean, it happened there, and it's happening right now to some degree in a lot of places in the world, and the climate is turning, to excuse the pun, in this country. And to reinforce that, we got a little soundbite here, and this really is another example of a different way that people with a very twisted view of reality are trying to change the country, change the world to suit this conspiracy of fraud upon us. And this one happens to be from a presidential frontrunner, Bry. So some people in the audience may be supporting this particular candidate. If so, well, you might want to consider that if you're someone who values your freedom, individual and otherwise. Take a listen.
Example, I'm the only candidate which has a policy about how to bring economic opportunity using clean renewable energy as the key into coal country, because we're going to put a lot of coal miners and coal companies out of business, right, Tim? And we're going to make it clear that we don't want to forget those people. Those people labored in those mines for generations, losing their health, often losing their lives, to turn on our lights and power our factories. Now we've got to move away from coal and all the other fossil fuels. But I don't want to move away from the people.
So there you go, Bri. I have one word for everybody who thinks that these so-called renewable energy solutions are going to be available to us anytime soon to fill the void of petroleum-based energy. And that one word would be Cylindra. Anybody remember that?
Yeah, I do. Actually, we're missing a technological breakthrough. I mean, that's the problem. That clearly, if we could get to the stage of using solar energy, I mean, God knows enough of it shines on the earth in something like 2 hours to feed the whole earth for a month or something. But we just have not yet got the means of converting it into useful energy, be it electrical or anything else, in a efficient fashion. They're having all sorts of solar panels and things are really the same efficiency as they were years ago, and they have to get to orders of magnitude better to make it useful. And one day we all will get there, and then things will be great, actually.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think there are exciting developments that are going to come to market, and they're going to fill a big void. But I really think it misses the point. in this political environment, because what's happening right now is not realistic. And the motives that these people have, and the people at the top, by the way, they don't believe in global warming the way that the typical indoctrinated soldier does. That's just not reality. They know that this is a fraud. Their objective is to deindustrialize the country and other industrialized countries, and they want to do that to advance a global taxation scheme that basically is penalizing a trace beneficial gas. Folks, CO2 is 400 parts per million roughly in the atmosphere right now. I mean, you have to just kind of put your basic smell test to this. And, you know, we've invited people onto the podcast before. We don't want to be argumentative about it, but we'd like to treat the subject as something that we can discuss as adults and not as a weapon to crush our political adversaries. I mean, but that's what's happening against us. So we're the global realists, and the warmists are in fantasy land. And unfortunately, a lot of them don't have very good motives. I guess that's the main message.
Okay. Well, people have got a month to think through the message, okay? Or they can contact us and give us their own views.
Well, we asked for feedback.
That's right.
And it's something that we have to stand up and talk about. Otherwise, we're going to get steamrolled. And that's not good. It's not good enough to sit on the sidelines on this topic. Well, Bri, that wasn't very predominantly fastener related.
Very little fastener related. Mind you, some of the structures that house these energy producing things need nuts and bolts to hold them together.
Oh, you're grasping at straws, Bri.
I know. I'm pretty good at that.
You thinking about switching careers into politics, or?
No. I was grasping at straws as I was slithering backwards down some of these slopes, Jackson Hole. So I'm good at that.
Well, once again, I'm glad you made it home safe. You wore your helmet, and you came back with only minor sprains and scratches.
Right, and a damaged ego, but otherwise good.
Well, it's good to have you back, and folks, warmists and realists alike, it's good to have you each and every episode with us on Fully Threaded Radio.
Semper Screwdelis.
That's what I was going to say. That'll put episode 103 of Fully Threaded in the can. For Brian Musker, this is Eric Dudas. Get out there, sell some screws, keep it real, and we'll talk to you next time.
Right.
Fully Threaded Radio is a production of Fasteners Clearinghouse. Music provided by Audionautics.